Okay, hello. So I hope you've all kind of seen the video that I posted up yesterday. Now I thought I'd kind of make this into a bit of a series and every day kind of maybe potentially look at different parts of what we're doing, and hopefully later in the week we'll get on to how things differ from the usual kind of workflows and kind of how it will work in the live scenario. But today I just kind of wanted to dive a little bit more into Dolby Atmos, as we were talking yesterday about how it differs from surround sound. Now I kind of want to take that one step further, because it is very different to traditional surround sound in a few key ways, and I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm going to jump into the renderer, which is basically the piece of software that we will be running on a specialized audio processing computer on the day, and just give some kind of examples of that. And you'll want to be listening to this in headphones, because although my voice is in just normal old school stereo, I'm going to be demonstrating a little bit of how Dolby Atmos for headphones works, and that kind of leads on nicely to kind of how it is fundamentally different to traditional surround sound kind of audio. So with traditional surround sound, you have say like a 5.1 or 7.1. Now in order for once you mix that, once it's been mixed into that format, in order for you to hear that correctly and as the audio mixer intended, you're supposed to have your speakers in exact places or specific places in the room according to like a standard layout, and that will give you the correct sound field as it was originally mixed. Now that's the idea with traditional surround sound, and when we started trying to move away from that, we wanted an audio format that ideally would fit any situation, so that speakers can be anywhere, there can be any number of them, or even we can use headphones, which will be how I demonstrate this later on. Now that's what makes it an object-based audio scheme, which is what Dolby Atmos is. It's what Auro 3D is. It's DTSX is like that. It's an object-based audio scheme where we place objects in a room and then they are rendered to the playback environment. So it's completely agnostic. The format itself is completely agnostic of how it is played back. So for instance, the absolute same Dolby Atmos mix can be played back on anything from a set of headphones to some of the largest cinema multiplexes in the world, with up to even 128 loudspeakers in the room. I think I mentioned the other day that in Bristol we have the Cinema Deluxe, and that's that. I mean, the main screen there has many speakers, where you can experience a really high level of Dolby Atmos. But we're going to go and you'll hear a bit for the headphones today, so get your headphones on, and then we'll run into that. I'm going to pop over to my computer screen now. Here we are. I'm in the bottom corner down here. Hello. You'll see a couple of things we've got going on the screen here. The one I want to draw your attention to first is this. This is the Dolby Atmos home renderer. This is what we use to author Dolby Atmos content. We can record Dolby Atmos content into this, make what is called a print master, which is a master file. Think of it in old school terms like a tape. Like a recording to tape. We record into this and it records the whole Dolby Atmos soundtrack, but also we can monitor using this, and we can kind of see what's going on you'll see here that I've got a left, center, right LFE, left surround, right surround, left top, and right top. Now you probably can't see from here. Potentially behind me here, there's a speaker over there. Yeah, behind the microphone, and there's one over here, and there's a couple on the ceiling. So I've got a little Dolby Atmos mixing suite in my room here, and this is kind of the setup. But at the moment, I'm just coming out of left and right, and you'll see the headphones there, which is kind of quite important. Now, this is the exact same piece of software that we're going to be using on the night, but what differs is this is a native version that I'm running on my computer, and on the night we're going to be using a specialist computer. There are slight differences between them, but essentially they do exactly the same thing. Now, what you can see here, you've got these kind of balls and this little red box here. Now this kind of signifies the objects, so we can have up to 128 objects in a Dolby Atmos print master. This little purple box at the top here signifies a 7.1.2 bed, which we can mix audio into like a pre-mixed bed. Now from here, you see we've got some little buttons at the top here, and we can, in fact, I'll make a master file now. We'll just call this test. I'll try not to make this video too long, and if it doesn't interest you, then hey, I tried. So you'll see now, like, a few things have changed. So the blue dots are telling me that has got metadata coming from my audio DAW, which is Pro Tools here, and the yellow one saying it's ready to receive it, but it's not there. So see, you can see it's just popped up, no object metadata. So ideally, what we can do from here is we can record anything that we send into this. Now, I'm not gonna record it at the minute. I'm gonna jump over to Pro Tools here. Now, I'll be using Pro Tools on the evening, but I won't actually be putting any audio through it. I'll just be using it to control the metadata that will feed the RMU. So I think I may have mentioned yesterday that the thing that makes Atmos unique is you have an audio component and a metadata component. The metadata component tells the renderer where in the room that piece of audio should appear. Now that'll become a little bit more obvious. You can see I've got my panner here, and you'll see that as I move this around, so this track here called Vox, I tell it that I want that to come out of object 16, okay? And if we pop up this little box here, this is our 3D panner, so we can go left, right, rear, up in the top corner, down in the bottom corner, and there are a few other things that we can do with Atmos that is not so simple to do with traditional surround sound mixing techniques. For instance, we can make the size of the object change. So ideally, this gives us full control over where the audio will appear in the room. Now, you can imagine on the night, so as I mentioned yesterday, we have 7 surround speakers, 4 speakers on the ceiling, and we're actually going to have a sub in each corner. So there's, it's going to be pretty thumping as well. And what will happen? You'll see some channels here. Imagine they are like microphone feeds. They're coming from the stage. Like this content here is coming from the stage. That we'll feed that with different kind of object positional metadata, and then we'll get our kind of 3D kind of experience. Now, I wanted to demonstrate that a little bit, so get your headphones on. This is the time for that. If I pull this up, this recording, now I can't actually listen to it because unfortunately the way it works, I can't monitor myself when I'm recording this. But if I press play here, oh, yeah, just gonna pop these out here. You'll notice, you'll probably hear there's like front left to you. You'll notice that there's an object. Now I can move that around you. This is a NASA sound sample from one of the moon landings, and I can move that around you, and then we can kind of change it, and it can come above you and then behind you and so on and so forth like this. And as we're doing that, you can see I have to put point up to the little room. You can see like all these objects moving. Now I'm going to stop these things here, and they'll stop moving. All right, so that's kind of these plugins that I have. So this is a music panel plugin, and it goes to the beat of the music. I'll be using these on the evening. If I open up that plugin, as it would be, you can see these objects start dancing. Now there's no actual sound. Oh, potentially there is some sound coming from that. That's probably not the greatest. Oh no, so you can't hear these. So this is actually silver wave set, or some of it, what we've been working on. This is just like one of my little test rigs. Ideally, I just wanted to use this to demonstrate to you. So I've got a signal generator here that just generates pink noise. And if I open that up, you'll now hear that pink noise. So I'm gonna open that up, and again, this is one of those things that I can manipulate around the room, and you'll potentially, if you're on your headphones, you'll hear that moving around you. I can move it to the top of the room and around. So this really gives me a lot of power. We can make it bigger, and you see this ball up here. So we've got like visual feedback. We can see, if we pop over to our renderer, number 15, which is that channel, or that object. We've got the little green ball here telling us we've got signal, and that's where that's coming from. I hope you can still hear me okay over the signal generator. I'll turn that off. So the power of Atmos is incredible, really. And we're really hoping. I'm gonna pop back to hello. We're coming back to the big screen now. We're really hoping that the audio experience that you will feel on the night will be like nothing that you've ever heard before, and that really we're trying to break new ground here and push some things forward. We can't take away from the incredible artists that are going to play, and I really hope you do join us. Tickets down, maybe up. I'm going to stop that. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about how we can take just a traditional 2-channel piece of audio and turn that into Dolby Atmos. So do tune in tomorrow, and until then, enjoy.